Anthony Richardson is about to make his NFL debut against the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. And I was talking to a few homeboys of mine who are Jaguar fans, and they think that Anthony Richardson is going to struggle and that the Indianapolis Colts are going to get blown out. And it's not going to look pretty for Anthony Richardson in his first official NFL start. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? When you think about the Jags defense in 2022, they were really good against the run. They were 12th in the NFL in rushing yards per game allowed. And this is a unit that didn't really give up a lot of big explosive runs. But they did struggle inside of the red zone. Is the red zone defense going to improve? Is the third down defense going to be improved? The linebacker unit, Devin Lloyd, Foye Oluokun, they're going to have a tough task ahead of them, right? Even though Anthony Richardson is not the greatest passer, trust me, we know that things are going to look pretty ugly if Indianapolis is asking Anthony Richardson to win this game, throwing the football 40 times. But this man runs 4.43. He's 6'4", 255 freaking pounds, dog. This is like Derrick Henry at freaking quarterback. It doesn't matter if Anthony Richardson isn't the greatest passer. When you're going against this kind of monster at quarterback, you kind of got to change some things on defense. You can't defend Anthony Richardson with the same personnel that you defend against a pocket passer or any other quarterback. Anthony Richardson's athleticism is going to allow him to get away with a lot of mistakes. Against the Buffalo Bills, if you go and you watch his preseason debut, he was stiff-arming guys to the ground, running dudes over. Most linebackers in today's NFL do not weigh any more than 230 pounds. Anthony Richardson has like a 25-pound advantage on most linebackers. And once he gets into the open field, it's wraps. These defensive backs already hate tackling as it is. There are very few defensive backs that actually try to wrap up anymore. So you really think that anybody in the Jaguar secondary really wants to see 255 pounds, 4.43 in the open field? Good luck. This is a game that could be a lot tougher than what you may expect. Anthony Richardson, he may not have a great day throwing the football, but when he decides to run that thing, and he's probably going to be running that rock a lot, Jacksonville's defense may have some issues against this. This isn't your typical dual threat quarterback. This is Derrick Henry at freaking quarterback, dog. There are not a lot of NFL defenses that have the kind of personnel equipped to slow down an Anthony Richardson. Most linebackers aren't more than 230. So you really think that these linebackers are going to be able to stop Anthony Richardson every single play behind the line of scrimmage? You're going to have to stack the box. And when you stack the box, Anthony Richardson, he's shown the ability that if you give him enough time and you give him some easy throws downfield, that he can knock him down 7 out of 10 times. He may not consistently hit the open field throws downfield, but if you give Anthony Richardson some chances, he can make you pay. He has one of the strongest arms in the NFL. Anthony Richardson, he may have some ups and downs in this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but his athleticism and his size make him really challenging to defend against if you're Jacksonville's defensive coordinator. And they weren't good in the red zone. Indianapolis is going to be very good in the red zone with Anthony Richardson at the helm, because that's where his athleticism really makes him a threat in the red zone. When everything's condensed, there's not really a lot of the playbook that you have at your disposal. You got to get really creative down there. And with AR at the helm at QB, 255 pounds, you love the red zone opportunities that you're going to have with him against the Jags defense. Nobody wants to tackle this. And tackling Anthony Richardson can really wear down your defense over the course of 4 quarters. This man is 250 plus, 4.43, running downfield at you. This is Derrick Henry on steroids, but just happens to be able to throw the football really well. The Jaguars, they probably will beat Indianapolis, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't think anybody should be overlooking Anthony Richardson. Shane Steichen and Jim Irsay, and Chris Ballard, they know what they're doing. They trust Anthony Richardson under Shane Steichen's tutelage. Shane Steichen isn't going to put Anthony Richardson in a position where he's completely going to fail. Shane Steichen, if you guys don't know, is Indianapolis' new first-year head coach. He was previously the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator for the last couple of years. He also was Justin Herbert's offensive coordinator his rookie season. So if there's anybody who you can trust to develop a young quarterback, it's Shane Steichen. And trust me, they're going to have a game plan for Anthony Richardson. They wouldn't have made this man the starter if they were going to put him in a situation that's going to destroy his confidence. Anthony Richardson, his size and his athleticism makes him very difficult. Even when you think you have this dude wrapped up behind the line, he's still going to break out, make a couple of guys miss, and he's going to be off to the races. There's only so much you can do, and only so much you can do the game plan for somebody with this kind of size and athleticism. It's very rare. Anthony Richardson, with his God-given abilities, is going to allow him to make some things happen that most quarterbacks wouldn't be able to make happen in certain situations. There's a reason why he got drafted in the top 5. This is a 1% athlete, not just in the NFL, but in the whole entire world. You're not going to find somebody with this size, this speed, this open field, change of direction that Anthony Richardson possesses. It's going to be a little bit challenging for this Jags defense. Yeah, you may have a great game plan to bottle Anthony Richardson up, but once you get to see this dude on the field in in-game action, you're going to find out very quickly that he's going to make a lot of guys miss behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to make a lot of things happen after contact. You don't want to see Anthony Richardson, and you don't want to try to tackle this guy. It's not going to be easy to get this man down. Even if he makes the wrong read on a read option or a design quarterback run, it's not really going to matter too much, because how many players on your defense are equipped to be able to tackle this man? This size is a problem. This athleticism is a problem. And Jacksonville is going to be the first team that gets to get the first knack at trying to figure out how to slow down Anthony Richardson. And it's a copycat league, so if whatever Jacksonville does works, many teams are going to be implementing that. But sometimes you got to have a particular personnel when you're going against somebody that has Anthony Richardson's skill set. The Jaguars have some solid players on their defensive line. I don't think they got anybody crazy athletic, but they do have Trayvon Walker, who's going to be really big in a game like this. Trayvon Walker was drafted number 1 overall last year for situations like this. He was a freak coming out of Georgia. He has insane upside. He has insane athleticism. So Trayvon Walker is going to be really big in the Jaguars trying to slow down Anthony Richardson. Same thing with Josh Allen. You're going to need your pass rushers to wrap up and make sure they can get this fool on the ground. And it's easier said than done. 255 running 4.43. I'm going to reiterate that for the last time. It's not easy to stop. You can put all the guys in the box all you want to, but somebody who's less than 180 pounds is not going to have a great chance at bringing down Anthony Richardson. Once he gets past the front 7, it's wraps. So you really got to allocate all resources to slowing this man down. And if you do that, there's a good possibility that he could beat you over the top, throwing the D ball to Alex Pierce. This Jaguars secondary is not that great. They were very inconsistent last year. They gave up a lot of big plays through the air last season. So Jaguar fans can make it seem like they just have a guaranteed win against Anthony Richardson. He's going to struggle. I wouldn't be all that confident about that. Anthony Richardson is a really tricky player to defend against, and most defensive coordinators will tell you that. Even though he can't throw, his athleticism makes him really challenging the game plan for. You may make it seem like it's so easy to slow down the dude who's 6'4", 255 pounds, running 4.43 just because he can't throw the football that effectively, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be an asset at all. That's why Indianapolis chose to start him, because you can still win games with that. Same way the Bears were winning last year with Justin Fields, despite him not being the most polished passer. Same way the Ravens were winning with Lamar Jackson his rookie season. I'm trying to tell you guys, like, there's a reason why Anthony Richardson is named the starting quarterback. They know it's going to be some growing pains, but they also know it's a way to win with this fool because his size and athleticism is very rare. Even though we have more and more talented quarterbacks coming out, there are not too many quarterbacks that are going to have the kind of athleticism and size that Anthony Richardson has, and that's going to make him a problem for Jacksonville. You're not playing in the early 2000s or the late 1970s when you had 6'4", 6'3", 245-pound linebackers anymore. These linebackers are smaller. They're sacrificing size for speed, and eventually you're going to have to find somebody who's going to have the physicality to bring this fool down. Like, you go out there and you try to tackle Anthony Richardson, that fool would make you look like a crash dummy. There was a game a couple of years ago, early into Lamar Jackson's career, where the Ravens had to play the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots, no matter what they did on defense, could not stop Lamar because they didn't have the personnel. You got to have the right personnel to slow something like this down. So don't think that Anthony Richardson, just because he ain't the greatest passer, he's going to struggle in every game, because there are teams that are not going to be equipped to slow this fool down when he gets into the open field and when he has one of those games where he just can't be stopped. He's one of those quarterbacks that could go for over 1,200 on the ground this season. Quarterback power, you better watch out. If your linebackers can't get downhill in this game and you're relying on Rayshon Jenkins or Cisco or whoever else in your secondary to be your last line of defense against Anthony Richardson, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. It's going to be over with.